right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
New charges in a deadly crash. Days before the suspect is due in court, what the new allegations reveal about the crash that killed his daughter and ex-girlfriend. A facelift for Greenwood Cemetery. Volunteers out in force helping restore the historic cemetery.
It gives me inspiration that this place can be turned around and beautified.
But first tonight, a brazen theft. Crooks steal a long-standing church bell overnight, and neighbors say the criminals took days to do it.
I saw the bell sitting right where it should sit, and the next time I walked by there, it was busted off sitting in the grass there.
Thanks for joining us at 10 tonight. I'm Brent Solomon. Criminals committing an unholy act, stealing a historic bell from a Soulard church. It happened at St. Peter and Paul Catholic Church outside of the rectory. 5 on Your Side's Alex Fees explains the thieves were caught on camera.
Right. It was right there. It was right there. It's busted on the hinges.
A Soulard resident shows us where the bell was located.
The first church bell from the first church, which is going back to 1849.
Father Bruce Foreman, pastor at Soulard's St. Peter and Paul Catholic Church, posted these photos of the bell and the thieves in action on Facebook.
Somebody may see it or be suspicious if they try to sell it to somebody.
Soulard resident Paul Mondane believes he may have heard it happen.
I noticed a vehicle beeping, backing up, the backup beep sound of a utility vehicle.
Yeah.
And it lasted about half an hour because it woke me up. It's early in the morning.
Yeah, what time?
Roughly I looked at my phone about 4, a little bit after 4 a.m.
Father Foreman says the thieves cut the bell from its base, but then it actually sat there on the ground in the grass for a couple days before they removed it, as if they didn't realize how heavy it is.
And they knocked the top of the light pole off of the pole. And so I think they were trying to work under the cover of dark, get rid of the light source, and do their business.
Soulard resident Will Munt speculates on a motive.
But you got to melt it down. It's obvious what it is.
Unless you could sell it to a salvage yard or something.
The salvage yard shouldn't pick up on that. You got to figure it out. Call a cop.
I'll give you that.
Good luck to you.
All right, you too. Thank you. In Soulard, Alex Fees, 5 on Your Side.
And police are checking that security video to see if any cameras captured a license plate number. If you know anything about this crime, call St. Louis Police. Tonight, an arrest warrant for the driver of a deadly crash that happened 2 years ago. Friday, prosecutors filed murder charges against Carlos Clausen in the deaths of his 2-year-old daughter and his ex-girlfriend. Police say he was going 30 miles over the speed limit when he ran a stop sign near Halls Ferry Circle. He hit a curb and crashed into 2 trees, killing both passengers. Surveillance video shows Clausen did not apply the brakes and made no attempt to avoid the crash. He was previously charged with involuntary manslaughter with a jury trial scheduled for Monday. Well, tonight, St. Louis police investigating a deadly double shooting in North City. Police showed up to Cass Avenue, that's in the Jeff Vanderloo neighborhood, around 3:30 this morning. They found a man shot in a parking lot and another man shot in a nearby field. The first victim died on scene. The other man rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. Right now, police have not identified a suspect. Tonight, the College Hill neighborhood getting a little TLC. Volunteers came out to the Grand Water Tower for the annual Clean Up, Build Up initiative. It's hosted by the City of St. Louis, the Urban League, and the Regional Business Council. The work included trimming brushes, cutting back grass, and clearing off walkways there. Volunteers also installed motion cameras and gave out free gun locks. Right now, a historic cemetery in Hillsdale, Missouri is getting a makeover. A youth group is working to preserve Greenwood Cemetery. That's where Harriet Scott is buried. 5 on Your Side's Travis Cummings reports.
Right now we're mulching to allow the trees to grow.
They're using their hands to preserve the land.
We just meet up on Saturdays for a couple hours and do our time for the communities.
Riley Poirot and the Missouri Botanical Gardens Outdoor Youth Corps are breathing life back into the historic Greenway Cemetery in Hillsdale. They're planting a new grove of native trees and bushes on the grounds.
We were here 2 weeks ago and we removed honeysuckle from this entire area. It was completely overrun.
The young gardeners have power drilled stiff soil.
Let it soak in first.
And Beyond Housing is doing the much needed watering. Every effort to take care of the first non-denominational commercial cemetery for African Americans in the St. Louis area, established in 1874.
Harriet Scott is buried here. It's just very important.
We have planted a living amenity to honor the souls and the lives of the over 50,000 Black St. Louisans who are buried here.
In 2015, when this work started, they tell me you couldn't even see the headstones in this cemetery. That's until Shelley Morris and her husband Raphael formed the Greenwood Cemetery Preservation Association and stepped in to clear weeds and illegal dumping on the 32 acres.
The cemetery had laid abandoned for a minimum of 3 decades. And when we started volunteering, we really just saw the need.
For them, it's personal.
We have family buried here as well, but we knew that others couldn't visit their loved ones at that time as well.
This soil is touching souls.
I really love coming out and doing this stuff.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
Well, as we get ready for daylight saving time to end, the St. Louis Fire Department is helping keep families safe. Today, firefighters participated in the Red Cross Sound the Alarm campaign. They installed nearly 1,000 fire alarms in homes all throughout the city. Last year alone, firefighters responded to more than 500 house fires in St. Louis.
Smoke alarms going off help to make sure that you've got the time it takes, even a few extra seconds, to be able to get out safely from a home fire. Home fires are the most frequent disaster that we respond to here in the metro and around the nation. Having a working smoke alarm will indeed save your life.
Now, if you're having trouble with your smoke alarm, you can reach out to your local fire department or the American Red Cross. They recommend replacing them every 10 years. An update today on the tentative contract agreement with the United Auto Workers and General Motors. The president of the UAW says the deal would include a wage increase, an end to tiered vacation time, and the right to strike over plant closures, outsourcing, and investment. While addressing union members, Shawn Fain vowed to continue to help other unions negotiate their contracts.
At the UAW, we know that our fight for a record contract is more than just a fight against the big three. It was a bare-knuckle match between the working class and corporate greed.
The UAW reached a deal with GM Monday after already reaching tentative agreements with Stellantis and Ford. The strike lasted 6 weeks. Celebrating 50 years of hip-hop. How St. Louis Black Fashion Week is paying homage while bringing the latest styles to the runway. As the Israel-Hamas war rages on, calls for a ceasefire are growing louder. The double down by U.S. officials today during a summit with Arab leaders.
Clouds around right now, but we've seen a couple of light showers. How that impacts us overnight, and when we'll see clearing and cooler conditions for a brief period as well. Tonight, local designers and models are honoring 50 years of hip-hop through fashion. Here's a look from the 9th annual Black Fashion Week runway show in O'Fallon, Illinois. 9 designers showcasing their work tonight, which explores the genre's impact on American music, art, and clothing. The founder of Black Fashion Week wants to not only highlight hip-hop, but the deep connections fashion has to St. Louis.
If you got roots in the city, then you probably in this space with us tonight. Look, we got some of the best designers across this country celebrating their talent, their gift, and their magic. You don't got to leave our city to go and be known, right? Nor do you have to leave our city to get the energy that you deserve. If the magic inside of you, the city's going to show up for you.
St. Louis Black Fashion Week ends tomorrow night with a grand finale at the HG Event Space in downtown St. Louis. Well, a local art dance company kicking off their new season tonight with a ball. The Big Muddy Dance Company focuses on bringing diverse and culturally driven dance to St. Louis. Dancers premiered some never-before-seen pieces at the event tonight. And 5 on Your Side's Travis Cummings was tonight's Master of Ceremonies.
Well, we are looking ahead what it's going to look like at 6 o'clock tomorrow as we set our clocks back and if we'll see any sort of different weather in the next 24 hours.
Tonight, Israel's military operations continue in Gaza. Plumes of smoke could be seen from the border as war continues. 4 weeks since Hamas killed 1,400 Israelis and took more than 240 hostages. In Gaza, food, water, and medical supplies are dwindling, and Gaza health officials say more than 9,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks. Earlier today in Jordan, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with several Arab foreign ministers. Many of them called for a ceasefire and an immediate delivery of aid to the Gaza Strip. Secretary Blinken voicing support for a humanitarian pause to the war, but he doubled down on opposing a complete ceasefire, saying it would give Hamas time to regroup.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Just a few days ago, a senior Hamas official said that it was their intent to do October 7th again and again and again.
He says the U.S. and its Arab partners both want the war to end, but have different views on how it should be done. You can follow all of our latest news on the Israel-Hamas war and find ways to support those impacted by texting the word Israel to 314-425-5355. This weekend, the Missouri History Museum is celebrating Dia de los Muertos. Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday celebrating the return of spirits to the land of the living. Numerous ofrendas were displayed, representing a variety of Latin American cultural tradition. There is also an altar for Jean Cusca, the CVPA teacher killed in last year's school shooting. Dia de los Muertos continues tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Lemire Sculpture Park was lit up tonight for their After Dark event. While the park usually closes 30 minutes after sunset, tonight's the one exception. This year, the annual autumn tradition featured live music playing all night long. Several food trucks were there and even some fire pits. And since this is a nighttime event, the park adds light and sound to its iconic sculptures.
Chance to be in the park at night is very rare and special. That's why so many people come out. We have lit up the sculptures in the park and all of the trails so our visitors can explore the fields, explore the woodlands, and see all kinds of fun and exciting things.
Another treat for guests was the night market, which featured close to 50 local vendors. Time now for your Weather First forecast. Meteorologist Gary Frank standing by. I tell you what, Gary, not a bad evening to be out there for that.
Yeah, not bad at all. It's not like cold. I think it's going to be a little colder tomorrow morning, but, you know, it's just kind of warmer than average as we start off the month of November, and that trend continues. We do see a few more clouds outside. I think we're going to see from north to south some pretty good clearing. We had clouds outside through the majority of the day, but none of that rain really ever fell. So for the most part, that cloud cover continued. But you notice how it's starting to clear out from really Quincy and Columbia, and that's where there's a pretty sharp line of clearing and also cooling. But otherwise, there's a couple of light sprinkles here and there. Most of that stuff not reaching the surface, so that's why we're not really talking too much about it. But temps right now in the mid-50s overall, 55, a north-northwest breeze now, cooling things off. Our average is 61 over 42. We were at 65 today is what we hit, 51 in the morning. So I think this morning was a little bit warmer than we've been seeing over the last couple of days. Locally, though, temps still in the mid-50s, but look where that cooler air is settling in. 38 in Kirksville, 40s behind it. That's what we're going to be seeing over the next few hours settling in, and that's why I think we're going to have no problem dropping in to the low to mid-40s in the city, mid to upper 30s outside of the city, and even some patchy fog is not out of the question. So be prepared for that here. Now, overall, here's what's going to look like. Tomorrow morning, we set our clocks back. Now, here's the deal. Your phone does it automatically, and if you're like me, that's really all that matters for most of us. But your microwave, your car, if you don't plug your phone in, and that one wall clock that you touch for about 4 months out of the year, I usually just leave that one on. But today, 7:32 was in our sunrise. It's 6:31 tomorrow, 6:57 in a month, and then we pretty much hit our peak at about 7:15. It starts to go back up. Now, we really feel it is 4:56, our sunset time. 4:40, that is the absolute bottom that we see. And then when we get closer to Christmas, That's where it's 446. So be prepared for that. Overall, though, clouds continue to be around with us tomorrow. I don't really think we'll see much in the way of rain, but it's not all that bad. It's almost identical. We'll start off cooler. We'll probably finish with more sunshine, temps in the mid-60s. So like I mentioned, temps in the mid-40s tonight overall. That cloud cover and rain is out of here, and I think for the most part, we're going to stay pretty quiet and dry, and that's a big story for us here. As it's very, very dry, we're starting to settle back into the drought. And, you know, when we don't really see much in the way of rain chances, when we have a pretty west to east flow, which should be more active, we're not seeing many disturbances come in. And so as a result, we're not going to see much of a dip in not only the cold air, but we're going to be much warmer as well. Temperatures warming back up mid to upper 70s, right around 80 degrees on Wednesday. And then even as it cools back down, it's still only in the mid to upper 50s and not many chances for rain as we head into Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah, that cold weather we had really kind of tricked us a little bit.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. We get cold. We're supposed to get cold, and we're supposed to have rain, but we're not doing any of those things. That's what happens.
We're not. We'll keep watching it. Thank you, my friend. Corey, some big games today.
We got a loaded sportscast coming your way. Mizzou took their best shot against the best in the country. Blues and Illini had happy nights, and we have a lot of Illinois schools moving on in the high school football playoffs. Stick around. Sports is up next.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It's been a long time since Mizzou has won the big one, the game that shows the country they are for real. The Tigers had that chance today in Athens, Georgia, but when you're playing the back-to-back national champions who haven't lost a game since December of 2021, you have to be near perfect to pull off the upset. Eli Drinkwitz and company looking to take control of the SEC East with a win today over the #2 Bulldogs. Between the hedges, the start was good. Brady Cook airs it out, and guess who? It's Luther Burden III with another dazzling touchdown. Take a look at this one again. Great catch from #3. Not to be outdone, the other East St. Louis grad and former Tiger, Dominic Lovett, well, he scores for Georgia. We're tied at 10 at the half. Fourth quarter now, Mizzou trying to get back in it. They're down, and Cody Schrader is just a warrior. A couple years ago, he was scoring for Truman State. Now he's running for 112 yards and 2 TDs against Georgia. Tigers have a pulse. This was the big play. Mizzou down 6, trying to take the lead with 8 left, and Brady Cook throws a brutal pick to Georgia lineman Nazir Stackhouse. Cook would throw another pick later, but the game was all but over at that point, and Mizzou comes up just short in Athens. Bulldogs win 30-21.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurt guys in that room. They put a lot into this one. We knew it'd be a 4-quarter fight, and just, you know, disappointing to be so close but so far away at the same time. So, you know, we'll take 24 hours and figure out what it was, but there's still a lot of football left.
Brett Bielema in Illinois had a better finish against Minnesota today. How about Isaiah Williams? The St. Louis kid had 131 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, one from Luke Altmaier and then one from backup quarterback John Paddock with 55 seconds left to put Illinois on top for good. The Illini win a thriller in Minnesota 27-26. They moved to 4-5 on the season. The Blues were trying to get wins in back-to-back nights with Montreal in town this evening. Imagine if this pair gets going. First it's Jordan Kyrou, 1-0 Blues. Then it's the other young star, Robert Thomas with a snipe, 2-1 Blues. It's 3-2 here when Alexei Toropchenko gets out shorthanded, and he is going to send this one home as well. Saad, Shen, and Kapanen, they added the other goals as the Blues win 6-3. It was a huge day for high school football on the Illinois side. We went all over the area to bring you some highlights from our Metro East teams looking to advance in the playoffs. Metamora at Highland, the 9-1 Bulldogs are tough at home. This was a battle all day long. Big run from Dylan Beadle sets up Highland in good position in enemy territory. And later on, quarterback Blake Gelly going to use some nifty moves to find the end zone himself. This was a close one, but Highland hangs on. They win 41-36 to advance to the next round. Leroy at Althoff. The Crusaders are loaded with speed and talent. This guy has no trouble showing off that talent. Deere Hill Jr. is a menace, makes easy work of the defense for the touchdown. Later on, a bit of trickery on the reverse. They faked me out a little bit too. It's A.J. Strong who gets the touchdown this time. Althoff wins big 56-20 to advance to the next round. Now, when I say the whole town of Roxana shows up to a Shells football game, I mean it. They were fired up for today's contest against St. Joseph Ogden. Check out this goal line collision. Boom, right there. Evan Wells wins the battle for the touchdown for Roxana. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wells gets in for the 2-point conversion as well. The Shells win a thriller 48-47. They're now 11-0 on the season as they advance to the quarterfinals. Glenbard West at Edwardsville. The Tigers are 9-1. Watch Patrick Chisholm shoot through this hole for the Tigers. He's gone for 6 points for Edwardsville. QB Jake Curry had 2 rushing TDs and 2 passing TDs for Edwardsville today. Here's one of his on the ground, and the Tigers advance with a 48-14 win. East St. Louis continues their quest to go back-to-back as state champs. They face Normal West today. Robert Pop's battle can sling it with the best of them. A couple of long touchdowns in this game. Here's the first one that goes to Christopher Bennett. Then he's going to hit Rico Bond on another long pass for 6. The Flyers roll 54-7 into the next round. Lincoln Way West at Collinsville. It is a big deal for the K-Hawks to host a second-round playoff game. Nice play here. Darren Pennell to Chase Reynolds. That's good for a score as Collinsville fans are going nuts. It was not the K-Hawks day, though. Lincoln Way West comes to town and ends their season with a 43-19 victory. Also shout out Nashville, Mater Dei, Bree Central. They all advanced too. We got a lot of teams still going. Tough luck for Mizzou today, and don't even get Gary and I started, or we'll just ramble on for
those deals.
forever. We don't have enough time to get into it.
We'll let that one go. Take it away.
One of those deals, you know, at least it's still November and it feels this way. You know, I'd like to throw some rain in there. It was nice the other day, but we're going to be near 80 degrees. I mean, we're pushing pretty close to record highs for the first part of the week. Tomorrow's still nice, but get that extra hour of sleep if you're not a parent or somebody that's got to get up and do something. It'll be a little different feeling when it gets dark at 4:45 pretty much tomorrow.
2 a.m. is our time, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We hope you have a great night.